Speaker for today, Mr. Joseph Young Jr. He is a nationally recognized cartoonist, community leader, writer, producer, and director. He and his work, I don't know if you see him over there. He and his work have been recognized and featured in People Magazine, the New York Times, Boston Globe, Jet, Ebony, USA Weekend, C-SPAN, Fox, WB, the Black Family Channel, and other national media outlets. Joe still finds time to give back to the community and insists on service as a part of his work. Please help me welcome Hartford's very own Joseph Young Jr.
First of all, I'd like to say congratulations to the Hartford Job Corp class of 2011. Let's give another round of applause. Motivational speaker and all that, but I'm gonna keep it 100, so they should put keep it 100 speaker today, because we're going to get a little academic, but we're going to keep it a little hood too, so we make it real for y'all. But all jokes aside, I'm just proud to see you here. I got a call from Q, who does my bookings, and they said that they wanted me to speak, and I'm like, you know, I'm really tied up right now, I can't do it. And then they told me the mission of Hartford Job Corp and what you guys are doing. And I had to be here. I had to be here because I had to honor my mother. I've noticed in life, Mayor Segarra, people make it and some people don't make it. The people I know who have been very successful, they have honored someone special in their life. The people who didn't make it did not honor someone special in their life. And if you notice that, you will see what I'm saying. I'm going to talk about today about never giving up. I'm going to talk about long shots, because I can identify with you. I've been told my whole life that I can't do something. Now, they also only gave me about 10-15 minutes to speak today, and that's not a lot of time at all. I don't know whether that's just a team, because I like to talk. I mean, I was down in South Carolina, and I spoke for a long time. I spoke for about an hour. Wow. But you know what? You know what? When I was getting in, I mean, I was quoting King, talking about adversity. I was even quoting William Cullen Bryant. To him who in the love of nature holds communion. I mean, Chuck was born. You know what I'm saying? And like, somebody fell asleep right in the middle of my presentation. Fell asleep. Matter of fact, that person's with us right now. And you know what? I'm about to put him on blast because he fell asleep on me, right? You know who fell asleep during my presentation? Me. So we ain't gonna quote William Cullen Bryant, we ain't gonna do none of that stuff. But again, all jokes aside, I am like so proud of you, and I can't identify with you. I was grew up on a street called Irving Street. I don't know if y'all been down there, they're all together. All right, so that's where I was born. And I remember at age, I must have been about 11 years old, I loved creating characters, I loved writing, and a teacher told me that I could not be a writer. I mean, that was like devastating. But the great part is, I went home, and I went to that person that I honored, my mother, who passed in 1988, and she told me, she said, you know what, Joe, don't believe that. You can do anything you want to do. But understand this, it's going to come with a price. Anything worth having doesn't come easy. That's sacrifice, giving things up, being responsible. And my mother was right. Last year, the book, the project Diamond Ruff, the book became an Amazon national bestseller. So had I listened to that teacher, I might not be where I was today. Now, there's been teachers who have told me certain things that got me where I had to go. Now, you heard the accolades in the mirror, you heard some of my bios, you know, Even's background, and it's very impressive. White House, people, blah, blah, blah. But I'm going to tell you the secret. I'm not trying to trivialize your work, Mayor Segarra. I'm going to tell you what his secret is. What Mayor Segarra was able to do was simply follow through on his passion. He has a love of people. He understands politics, deal making, and he just followed through on that passion, and the rest came to him. Let's rewind again. I was 21 years old, and I became a single parent of a 3-month-old child. And that was probably one of the most difficult times in my life. I said, how am I going to do this? My boys was like, yo, come hang with us, you know what I'm saying? Give it, his grandmother, blah, blah, blah. And I even told myself, no, you can't do this. Again, I went back to my rock. Mom, I can't do this, what am I gonna do? She said, Joe, you can do anything you wanna do. And I'm so glad I listened to her, because that child, 3 months old, is here with us today. He just graduated from Cumberland College, Hollywood. He's a producer on one of the biggest film projects in Hartford. Kyle Young is in the front. Where are you from? I know some of your stories. You guys have overcome odds. You need to be proud of where you are right now. I've also noticed in life, the people who have the greatest challenges become the greatest folks. These are ordinary people put in great situations. You hear Oprah's story. She's one of the great ones, but she overcame adversity. Let's rewind again. My brother told me, at that time, nobody was a cartoonist and a black cartoonist. My brother said, that's a play job. You can't make a living doing that. I mean, we was fighting up on Blue Hills Avenue where Mobile is, on top of cars about my career. But I wasn't mad at them, because sometimes our parents tell us if we can't do something, it's out of love. It's more ignorance than anything else. You know what I'm saying? But he was there. And I'm gonna tell you right now, if you wanna know who's with you, who's ride or die with you, you go through something, see who's there with you. All right? So those people, when you're down, you're going through it, your parents are always there. That mentor is always there. That foster parent is always there. These people on stage in your school, they are there. So you know who's with you. That's your test. If you're going through something, you know who's there. Right now, I'm currently going something. We decided to do a great project. Never in the history of Hartford has anyone ever produced a major feature film on a Hollywood level. I said, you know what? My team, we may be the folks who did it. We called upon Mayor Segura. He gave us support for it. And guess what? We shot this movie. Within this movie, we have starring Frederick Starr. He was in Save the Last Dance, Onyx. We pulled in Felicia Pearson from the TV show The Wire. Michael Collier, who won Star Search. We also pulled in Dennis White. He played D-Rock in the movie Notorious, the one who took the bid for Biggie. Right? And we did it. They were right here in Hartford shooting, right? But it was a major accomplishment. But when you shoot and you edit and you got to do distribution, there's left curves that come in. So right now, we're struggling trying to get everything done to bring it to the next level. But when we do this, we will change the paradigm of Hartford and Connecticut, because we will assist the mayor in his great job of trying to provide jobs, tourism, and just economic parity. We have that opportunity, so we have to do it. And guys, 2012, you have to make it. Because as Maya Angelou said, you are one, but you stand for 10,000. So when you make it, a lot of folks make it. When Harriet made it as an investigator, she's opened doors for other investigators. She's a pioneer. I want you guys to Google her and see what she does. But in the meantime, let's give her a round of applause. So we won't give up. We'll seek sponsorships, investment, and get where we have to go. And guys, when you go through things, it's a good thing, because it is a lesson. You see, wisdom is learned two ways: through people and pain. The question is, do you learn from your mistakes? And historically, we know we can make it. There have been great people in our past who have made it. There have been great stories. A few stories that I'm reminded of: in the 70s, there was a great boxer named Cassius Clay. Who was Cassius Clay? Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali, the most defining moment, one of the most defining moments in his career was he had to fight a person by the name of George Foreman. George Foreman was bigger than he was stronger, he was younger. I think George Foreman was what, like 24, 25? Ali was 32 years old. That's old in a boxer. But Muhammad Ali knew one thing: the fight is won now when you're in school getting your grades, so when you go in life you can win. Muhammad Ali knew the power of the mind. And what he did was, he said, you know what, realistically I can't beat this guy. But you know what I can do? I can last, I can sustain. And so George Foreman's fighting him, beating him, blah, 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 just beating him. And George Foreman got tired. And then Ali rose up and beat this impossible challenger. You guys are going for jobs. You're going to get doors slammed in your door. Don't give up. You might have to go through 200 doors, but when you hit it, you hit it, all right? Another story is, there's a person called Mike Tyson. You ever heard of Mike Tyson? I had the pleasure of being with Don King. I spent about 5 days with Don King. And I said to Don King, in your mind, who was the greatest heavyweight boxer in history? He said, well, it was either Ali or Mike Tyson. But he said with Ali, his greatest years, he couldn't fight because he decided to stand up for what he believed. But he said, Joe, if I had to say who was a greater boxer, Muhammad Ali or Mike Tyson, Don King said, quote unquote, I would have to give it to Mike Tyson. And this man has seen it all. Now my point was, when we see Mike, he was knocking dudes out with like 90 seconds, right? And then there's a young man out of nowhere comes, his name is Buster Douglas. An unknown. He lost his mother. And he said, you know what, I'm gonna honor her and I'm gonna beat this fierce fighter. He had confidence, he trained, and guess what? He knocked Mike Tyson out. Guys, class of 2012, whatever you want to do, you can achieve. I've seen it too many times. Let's look historically in Hartford. There's a young girl in my program. She wins a contest. She can sing. She believes she can do it. She didn't accept no. She later on goes on to become a Nika. Well, she's a Nikanani Rose. She's in The Princess and the Frog. Dream Girls, right here from Hartford. There's two twins who believe they can make it. Their names are Brandon and Brian and Jagged Edge. Folks, you guys have that. As a matter of fact, you guys know both sides of the story. You can appreciate it. Recently in the news, maybe about a year ago, there's a pilot. His plane is failing. He's going over the Hudson River. He's got to land his plane. He stays calm. He doesn't believe that this thing is going to crash. He has hundreds of people, but he believes he can do it. He does not take no for an answer. And he successfully lands his plane in the Hudson River. Another story, we have blueprints all around us. So if you guys ever get stuck, remember these stories. There's a young organizer who believes I can do something that's never been done. I'm 100 years ahead of my time. That young organizer goes to Yale, he learns this thing, he goes through all the controversy, and he makes it. Barack Obama is a blueprint that you can make it. Let's give Obama a round of applause. And whatever you do, whether it's yoga, you pray, whatever you do, just do that to help you through that daily, because you can make it through. One of my things that helps me through a lot, there's a poem that's on refrigerators that I go by every day, and you guys might have heard it. And it goes something like this. I'm going to put a little twist on it though, but it goes like this. One night, a Hartford Job Corp girl was dreaming. She dreamed she was walking along the beach with the Lord. Across the skies flashed scenes from her life. For each scene there were two sets of footprints, one belonging to her and the other to the Lord. When the last scene of her life flashed before her, she looked back at the footprints in the sand. She noticed many times in the path of her life there was only one set of footprints. She also noticed it happened during the very lowest times of her life, when she got in trouble, when she didn't get that grade, when she got into an argument with the mom. And she said, she went up on the Lord. She ran up on the Lord. She said, Lord, you said once I decided to follow you, you'd walk with me the whole way. But I noticed during my most troublesome times, there was only one set of footprints. She said, Lord, I don't understand why you would throw me under the bus. The Lord said, my precious child, boo, I love you. I promise never to leave you nor forsake you. When you see only one set of footprints in the sand during your times of trials and tribulations, it was then that I carried you. Lord, I'm going to wrap it up because I know I'm over time. But I just want to make a couple more remarks and then I'm going to sit down so Gloria don't get mad at me. I'm all right, Gloria?